O God Emperor, overseer who makes things all right, whose power none can resist. Grant me the strength to defeat thy enemies. Grant me the will to defeat the beast. From your grace,
I shall know no fear.
This week in action.
Nuns, why is it always gotta be nuns?
Could be something.
Talk to the developers.
Are you playing with my emotions?
Let's get sad and then get happy.
Too good to be true.
That's not what they did here. When's the money going?
What other horror stories could come of this?
We love 10 cents.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to This Week in Action Podcast 42. And I just want to start by saying Guilty, who, if you didn't know this, is the one that makes all of our intro videos. You really outdid yourself. Because honestly, I just wanted to keep watching what was going to happen over do this podcast with you. So you did such a good job that I was that entertained.
Oh, good.
Very excellent.
Just wanted to give you that feedback. Welcome, everyone. Got a great show planned for you today. We're going to be going 90 minutes. We're going to be talking about a new poll that I have up on YouTube that has over 2,100 votes. We're going to be talking about, obviously, the news on Last Epoch and when we'll be getting multiplayer. And we're going to be talking about Martyr Warhammer, the new game we are playing as a community. With me, as always, is the true individuals that run this channel. My friends, my leaders, Guilty and Daft. Say hello, gentlemen.
How you guys doing tonight?
Hey, yo.
So let's just start off with the meat and potatoes, okay? Daft's got his purple hat on, and that signifies that's the Last Epoch hat, all right?
Yes, it is.
And if you don't know, multiplayer is coming March 9th, and my birthday's March 19th. I normally go to Vegas, so I figure I'll take 2 weeks off. 1 week of just streaming and playing LE, and then a week of partying. That's not important. Daft, March 9th. Are you surprised, upset, sad, disappointed? Thought it was coming? Overall thoughts, hit me.
I feel a little disappointed, but not sad. I'm happy that we have a date. They gave us a date now.
Yep.
It just seems... I think there was a lot of conversations probably going on in the last month and a half or so at 11th hour, and they had to crunch numbers and figure out the direction and what are we going to get when that drops. So a little sad, but okay with it. At least we can look forward, and I can fill in another few months of games until it releases. So yeah, not the best, but not the worst, I guess.
Guilty. And while you're giving your answers, I'm going to look something up. So I'm paying attention, just not looking at you.
All right. Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. There's a few issues with them launching in 6 months? 6 months?
Yeah.
Yeah. Other things are coming out before then.
4 months.
Is it 4 months to the first multiplayer tests, or is it to the actual release of
Release release date 090's March 9th.
Okay. Yeah, so 4 months.
Okay.
Yeah, because it's December. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. 4 months.
Still,
man, that seems like a long time.
Year. No, a third a year. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, the other part you mentioned with the other games, the competition will be a little thick at that point, so it doesn't put them at an advantage, I would say.
A lot of people seem to think that D4's beta will be out by then.
Possible.
We have Inquisitor right now, which is a nominal game. The new character is really fun. I love being a naughty battle nun.
Yeah, I played a little bit of that one.
Not a battle none. Yeah, it feels. I feel kind of disappointed that they couldn't pull it together to just give us a release and then fix it after, which I know that was what they were avoiding. But in their position, they're not AAA and they can't afford not to. That's how I felt about it.
Rotten Gamer in Discord said something so interesting. They were so afraid of pulling a Wolcen, that they never set sail, or they missed the boat. You know, they
Right.
they
They
were
didn't even get on the ship.
so terrified of multiplayer not going well that they never pulled the trigger. And maybe, you know, maybe that it'll always be that game that never released, you know.
So a bit of philosophy, like Devolver Digital has released some of the best games we've ever played.
Agree. Very fun.
Yeah.
They've also released some pretty terrible games that we would not talk about again.
Some stank.
They can't all be good. So just release the game
Right.
and then start working on something else or make the game better.
Yeah.
you-
Release.
The perfection they're looking for doesn't exist. It's not realistic. So, and you know, it cost them this time.
So this is what I was looking up in the background while you were giving that.
Yeah.
September 16th. So a little over 2 months ago, Judd said 2022. So in an
Yeah, I remember.
in an 8-week period, something happened. Right? I mean,
Cold Feet. It's up to him. They could release it without multiplayer right now.
this is what I
They
don't
could.
this is what I'm really struggling with. This is what like my brain keeps going to. And again, I'm the biggest fanboy for LE probably on the planet, at least top 10. Their monthly multiplayer communication. It was, this column is everything red that is not done. This is everything green that is
Right.
done. And every single month, more red turned to yellow, yellow turned to green. And we saw that. We're following it, we're covering it. Oh, we're getting closer. And then months ago, I mean, you're talking September, maybe earlier than September, there is no more red, there's no more yellow, everything's green. So
What happened?
and that's where
Yeah.
my brain starts like fizzling. Wait, like you said it was ready, or you said all that stuff's done. It's just like, we're fine tuning and we're getting the back end server stuff and we're making sure matchmaking's correct and we're trying to figure out, you know, to make sure it's a good experience. And now it's another 4 months.
At least.
If they
They've
pushed
given us 2 dates before.
if they pushed back March 9th, no, they wouldn't do that. I mean, I'm
Why
putting
wouldn't they?
I'm putting my stamp on that one. They would just release it jacked, I think. No way they would push it.
I will respectfully disagree with you and say it's getting pushed back at least one more time, because I think the reason it's not being released when he said it was is because it's not up to his unbelievable standard.
Rotten Gamer, I just gave you credit. Did you hear what I said? I just quoted something you said in Discord. Rotten Gamer just said, "Do you think they should have released single player as 1.0,
I mean,
then bring in multiplayer a year or so later?"
Yes.
I think if they thought about that earlier, but they kind of committed the other route for so long that
They made a one-player game
yeah,
and then had to tack multiplayer onto it.
yeah. I don't know.
Like they already have those. They need to finish with classes too.
There's that. Maybe they're trying to sneak those in.
Is that Eway in chat?
Yeah, it's
It
Eway.
was.
Yeah.
Oh,
Eway's back.
hello,
He says,
sir.
he heard multiplayer was coming to Last Epoch and he came
Yes,
back.
he did. Only to be saddened a little bit, hopefully.
It comes back in March.
March.
Kind of.
March.
There's going to be a beta before then. But
And thank you for the mention. You are welcome. I mean, I thought you brought up a great point. So again, I've never created a game in my life. I don't know what it takes to create a game. I know it's very difficult. I know it is not an easy task. I know that I could not do it. Okay. 11th Hour Games have publicly said, or at least Mike has said, hey, like if we can go back to the beginning, yes, we wish we designed this as a multiplayer game from day one. That being said, who knows if we would have got here if we would have made those decisions. So do I regret it? Do I wish that I changed it? No, because I'm so happy that we've made it to this point. Okay. And I think that's fair, you know?
Yeah. And he's probably right.
Like that, you got to remember that at the beginning, this is a game built off Reddit, passion project in the garage, working for free, just seeing if they could make something. And now they've got, you know, still got thousands of players. They're in the conversations. You know, I mean, they've done an amazing thing. But trying to turn Ellie into that perfect, you know, Diablo-like game instead of giving everyone what they want, I don't know. Like, if they built, you know, if they never touched multiplayer, screw it. Hey, we know it from the very beginning. We said this is going to be a multiplayer game. We are going to 100% finish all end game systems. We're going to 100% finish all uniques and all skills and all masteries and all classes. And it is going to be the best single player action RPG experience. And once that's done, which, because we would already have it, like we would have had it this year, like 1.0 release. Then we're going to move it to multiplayer. I just don't know if it would make it then that much harder. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's a tough spot they're in. I think that the closer they got to the end line, the nerves kicked in. And then all the other companies kind of started hitting their stride as well.
They're
game, so
they Star Citizen did.
Still here.
They keep on adding things onto it.
Right.
Instead of finishing what they need to. Yeah, they have mega feature creep. Let's make all the 3D art because, you know, art makes a game. Instead of finishing the classes. I mean, that was a mistake. Art comes last.
Right.
It always comes last.
They want all original assets out of the game. They want all
last.
They want all 2D art to match the 3D renders in game. They did the font, they did the NPCs, they did the voice acting.
All of that stuff is last.
Yeah, I agree.
You know,
you get the game done and then you release an update, quality of life updates really quickly in succession. So you're not worried about releasing anymore. You've got a team on bugs and stuff, and then you got your other team on the art getting all that stuff brought up, and every month or so maybe you bring in the armors and then the weapons the next month, and you just build it up.
I will say there is a single potential saving grace to all this in my mind. The fact that when we get 09, the game will likely be in a finished state with the exception of the last masteries. Like maybe it's, hey, 090 is March 9th, 1.0 is July. You know, like, I'm curious if it's, hey, instead of spreading it out over 6 months, instead of spreading it out for a year, we know you've been waiting for so long, but you're going to get so much so fast that we really hope it's going to be worth it. Because think about it for a second. All art, all skills, all gameplay, including combat feel and optimization, new lich, all the multiplayer will be in, like maybe all the NPCs, story, I don't know. Like, because a lot of people think like we've been waiting over a year and now we've got to wait another 4 months just to be able to play with friends. Like I don't want to play with anybody. So I've been waiting 16 months for nothing. It's not just multiplayer. Like, it is a whole, it's gonna
game.
If you have not played the game from like a 084, it's gonna feel like a completely different game based upon what they've done.
So what they've done is they started decorating their Christmas tree. Before there was a tree, they just took Christmas lights and ornaments and threw them into a pile, and now they have to stuff a tree into the pile.
Right.
Like,
it's a little backwards right now.
Game first.
Yeah.
All the crap they've been working on last.
I don't know. We got what we needed, I guess.
So this is what's going to happen. We're going to have a invitation only. That I don't know. I'm sure there's got to be a way you can apply for it. I don't know. I have no idea. So there's going to be an invitation only weekend event where you can stream, or I can stream. I don't like saying stuff where it's like, oh, Aaron has a big head. I have been invited for the stream, so I'll be able to stream multiplayer at the first release. Then you'll be able to do it again for a week. Then you'll be able to have opened where anyone can play, and then you will have the full launch. There's going to be 3 instances where you're going to be able to play potentially multiplayer, or at least see multiplayer prior to the actual 090 March 9th launch.
Still. I don't know. In my world, it's not going to matter too much because I'm not itching for it to come out. I'll just play other games.
Yeah,
But,
I mean, there are
you know,
other games.
There's other things to play, so personally, I'm not too worried about it. It just falls deeper in the cycle.
But that is the problem. Like, that is what I'm so upset about.
I'm saying personally, but for them, that's not good at all.
No, and for people that like the
games.
game on that level, it's not good at all.
Gosh.
Right.
In September, there's nothing to do. It's crickets. There's crap. There's nothing to do. Then we got Undecember and Torchlight, which we played. And even if those, you love them as much as you love them, they're still mobile PC ports. And then another month goes by and another month comes by. You know, it just seems like, man, you had just this window of there's just nothing. And now you're launching in a window of everything. Everything. And that's what makes me sad. Like, you know, I'm not mad at them. They're
the
making
worst things.
They're making a decision to ensure that we are going to have the best possible experience, and they're never going to try and hurt their reputation, hurt that first experience. They are making the right decision to ensure it's ready. But it sucks because I'm so afraid people are going to be like, hey, I finally gave Torchlight Infinite a chance, and Season 2 Pirates and Plunder is awesome.
And it's free.
It's awesome and it's free. Oh, hey, Aaron and all these other people keep talking about this new action RPG Superfuse that just came out. End of January. This game is awesome. Oh, hey, Warhammer 40k Inquisitor Martyr Season 6 just dropped. Awesome.
Darktide just dropped too, and that's not, I mean, it's not an ARPG, but people want to play it.
Oh, D4 beta just dropped. Open beta. D4 officially launched in April, you know? Anyways.
Yep.
Well, it's not, there's so much coming out at the beginning of the year.
Well, just gives us more time to think about it and come up with more questions, I guess.
Now, that being said, if all those games drop the same day, I know what I would play. Which brings us to our survey. I put a survey out on Guilty. Read whatever that. Oh no,
yeah,
don't read that. Just get rid of it.
I'm getting rid of that. Yeah.
I put a survey on YouTube. Okay. The survey says, if all launched the same day, what would you boot first? It has 2,100 votes. And the options were D4 1.0, PoE 2 1.0, LE 1.0, and Torchlight Infinite 1.0. So out of those 2,100 votes, and it's funny here, like, why'd you pick those 4 games? I just picked the 4 games that I personally think are good or popular. You know, you could have put Martyr on there, but it's already dropped, so that wouldn't make sense. I guess I could have put Superfuse instead of Torchlight, but I just thought Torchlight's fairly popular recently, so...
Season 2 coming out.
Season 2 coming out, so that was kind of my idea behind it. Torchlight Infinite came out or dropped with 5% of the vote. It's only 5% for Torchlight Infinite. And again, remember, this is what you would boot first. So somebody could vote for another one. It's not like which one do you hate or which one sucks or, you know.
No, first one, yeah.
Somebody could say, well, I would play all 4. I would just boot this one first. So Torchlight got 5%. Last Epoch got 13%. PoE 2 got 25%. And the Juggernaut, which just goes to show. and I rag on Blizzard a lot, right? So it's not like this would be
They earned it.
This would not be skewed as if you were doing it on like a Riker's channel, right? D4 got 58% of the vote.
Of course it did.
58%.
It's got name recognition. People know Diablo. They still think it's a great game, even though they've never played it and they've only seen like trailers and some gameplay.
But
I'm not surprised by the entire list.
But it really goes to show, right? Out of 2,100 people, all 4 games dropped the same day, 58% would boot D4. That is Last Epoch's competition, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. They did that to themselves.
They
could have launched this month.
And
like they were supposed to.
And in my head, maybe they already know that it's launching in April. So they said, okay, like we have to launch in March. So that's like,
well, they're not launching. That's .9.
But they know that's, you know, people have been waiting for years for multiplayer.
What they need to do is go on permacrunch and finish the game.
No, Mike has said publicly that they will not. They will not
do what it takes to finish things on time.
They won't. Hurt's probably not the right word. They won't jeopardize the mental health of the staff at 11th hour games to push out something during the holidays.
I have worked ridiculous amount of hours and doing not office stuff. So and the people, like if you work for the grocery store across the street, they 55 hours a week mandatory of your salary.
You're talking to someone that worked retail for 19 years.
Yeah,
I know.
Exactly. Yeah. I
hated it when I worked retail and you're working Thanksgiving and someone would walk in the door and be like, man, it sucks you got to work on Thanksgiving. It's like, I am working because you are here. Do you understand? Like, what a stupid thing to say. God, that would drive me nuts. Okay, the other thing.
Why are you here?
The other
just
thing.
A nervous energy answer.
The other thing that drives me crazy working retail is, ooh, I've got this. Oh, I want to open this blender to see if it's the blender I want. And they tear open the packaging. And then they look at the blender and say, oh yeah, this is the one I want. And then they leave that open, destroyed box 1 there, and then take the new one. They take the new one and go and buy it. That is my number 1 retail pet peeve in the entire, everything else.
Oh boy.
Is second to that. If you are ever shopping and you open something because you want to see if you want to buy it, buy the damn one you opened.
Yes, you should. You destroyed that package. It's got to go back.
Or they'll like unwrap the blanket or open the comforter. That's not going back in the bag. Like we just throw it away, you know?
A machine did that. A person can't stuff that. That's, you open Pandora's box.
But
people don't care. They don't care. No. They really don't care about the employees at the places they shop at. Probably don't even think about them.
Okay. Off retail, back to gaming. Yeah. Guilty. This question is for you.
Yeah.
You know what Torchlight Infinite is doing. Built a single player game, and they are converting that game to have co-op.
Yeah.
What?
With the pirate expansion or whatever.
No, it's not going to be that. It'll be season 3.
It was the end of that.
No, it'll be season 3.
Season 3? Okay.
Likely season 3. My question is we literally just saw a studio create a single player game and then move it to multiplayer basically after it's out.
I would also like to know how many people are working for that studio and how many hours they work.
How hard is it? That's honestly my question. Because it's not just copy and pasting over, right? Like
I've never worked on a team over 10, so I can't really. It takes a long time, and it comes down on big teams like that. It's management, like it's team leadership and management that makes those projects successful. I would imagine that that Torchlight Infinite has either experienced managers. A game designer at that level is a manager. They're not coding. People are coding under them.
This is a pretty interesting comment. They aren't hurting the gamers. They are giving every other ARPG the ground they earned. They are hurting themselves.
Yeah, that's true. They're hurting themselves.
That's unequivocally true.
Yeah, that's objectively fact. True. Yes. Like the gamers have other games to play.
I bet you Hoser, if D4 and LE launched the same day, he'd pick Last Epoch.
No, he'd pick D4 in a heartbeat.
He'd burn LE down, or I don't know.
Yeah, he said he'd pay $1,000 to get. Hey, Hoser.
I know.
Yeah. I don't know. It's they did themselves no favors. They pushed the title back. At this point, it's the ARPG Star Citizen.
No. It's funny because I've been playing the game almost since I launched my YouTube channel. And to me, because I've played it so much and played so many other games, even you know, myself reflecting, like trying to not just be a fanboy, man, it's been a really long time. It's been a really long time.
Cinco. You know, think about this. Inquisitor's been out for what, 3 years?
Longer.
Yeah.
Maybe longer. I'm looking it up.
But in that time, it has transformed into something completely different. New classes, new seasons.
It has changed since I played it.
I think it comes down to time management.
June 5th, 2018.
Been a little bit of time.
It's been out a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wonder what Last Epoch says on here.
For release?
April 30th, 2009. 2019.
Okay, I was like, whoa.
So it's got what? A year.
Yeah.
Martyr came out a year before Last Epoch. And it's a fully released game on season 6. But I mean, I'm sure it has a much bigger budget, right?
Yeah. Well, okay, so
probably a bigger team, maybe.
Games Workshop makes a ridiculous amount of money.
Right.
Yeah. Even just selling licensing, right? Basically.
Right.
Yeah.
It's selling licensing, but just the tabletop stuff is very expensive, partly because they're making it all themselves, and I think they are also the distributor for it. I remember when I went to Games Day when I was younger.
Yeah.
Like I traveled to Glen Burnie, Maryland for that, because that was like the only place in the country that they had a you know, that's where they have it here.
Okay.
There's Games Workshop stores elsewhere, but you have to go there for that event.
Gotcha.
They used to hand pour. Like I went through the factory prior to plastic kits being all they did. It was 2 guys in like a large broom closet, and they had these pillars that rotated with these round discs that were molds.
Okay.
And they would hand pour molten pewter into them, spin them real fast. It would fill the mold, and that was how they made everything they sold in the United States.
Right.
So that's why it costs a lot of money. They're doing it all themselves.
Yeah.
Daft, question for you.
What's that?
So would this make you happier? I'm just curious if it's like, no, I want the complete, or no, I'd rather have it this way. Would you rather have Last Epoch multiplayer released today, but with no dungeons? Or would you rather wait for it to be a complete, what we know experience in March?
I'd rather them release it today and then just add to the game going forward. Personally, like,
Yeah.
just go. You'll get players in there. You'll get a little bit of hype in there. You'll get your bugs ironed out, and then you have your separate team, building up the content still, and cleaning it up and doing all that stuff. So
They've been saying for
That's what I
4
think.
years you only get one shot at a first impression.
yeah,
Yeah,
but
And I think
And
that's
you
like
make that impression.
it's almost
That's
like a
wrong.
company it's almost like a core value because they say it so often,
Right.
And it makes me think
they
like
can have a core value and die on it.
True.
They have
But
to
you have-
adapt. That's
you
not how
have to-
games are made now.
Yeah, you have to release something to grab the attention. The attention span of the average gamer for releases is pretty short. Games are always coming out, and
Yes.
something seems more exciting, and it's actually, dates come up, and so you just lose track of other games that are still in development.
Battlefield
back in 4
2042
months.
released a year ago. Okay.
yeah.
Yeah,
It was broken. It was a pile of trash. You could
Yeah.
fly a hovercraft across the sky after driving them off up a skyscraper. You could fly them in the helicopters. It was nuts. The bullet spread was terrible. The game was broken. Here we are a year later. They finally
Yeah.
fixed it. So I'm going to count the season 3 that I'm playing right now as the actual launch of the game, and everything I did before that is a beta.
Hmm.
An actual other is No Man's Sky, who famously released in 2016, just not what they wanted to give, and now it's a huge game, and they just did another update and release. So, they took a big PR hit for the first year and a half. They
Mhm.
recovered. They kind of dipped out for a while, probably did some behind the scenes, and then came back out and delivered. And
Yeah.
people back in there, and the haters have moved on, and then the people who just were waiting came back, and then the new players are coming. So Last Epoch do the same thing. They just I think they're
Should.
just scared. Just
It's
D4 is gonna suck the life out of everything.
everything.
I was
Not even
Yeah.
stuff from other genres. Like every
no,
game.
I was reading on forums that game is gonna shake actually like the gaming scene. Maybe not console, maybe not console, but
no,
PC
they play it on
gaming.
console.
I know, but action RPGs have never been like
You play I have almost 400 hours in Diablo 3 on my Switch.
Yeah, but that's because you're weird.
Well, no, it's because people that don't have computers still want to play that game.
Oh. Howard Gaming, I didn't mean that. I didn't mean that to you. He only plays on.
My bad.
He only,
Not you, Howard.
he only plays on console.
See? Oh, yeah, but he was playing Inquisitor on console today.
I know.
He's been
I know.
because console is still a viable thing.
The point I'm trying to make is in the PC game. All right, fine. In the entire gaming scene, D4 is going to rattle a lot. It's that who wants to release their movie on the same week that Endgame is coming out? You know what I mean?
Right.
Like this,
Right.
what, love them or hate them, Blizzard sucks, the game sucks, it's an MMO, it's going to be huge. It's going to be,
It is.
is there a single PoE player that is not going to play D4?
No, and PoE players play it on console too. Just going to throw that out there.
No, they don't.
Yes, they do. It's on PlayStation. It's on Xbone.
It does.
Do you know what genre, in my opinion, is next to impossible to play on a controller? An RTS.
Oh yeah, I couldn't imagine it.
RTS on console is next to impossible.
So do you? I use a Steam controller and it's got those little pads on it. And one of the things they advertised it as being able to do was RTS. It was that's a lot of scrolling with your thumb.
Yeah, but like just for StarCraft, it's like Control 1, Control 2, Control 3. Like you're making your little groups and you're sending them in commands. How can you possibly do that on a controller?
Okay, so there's buttons on the back of the Steam controller.
Yeah. You can set them as hotkeys. Things like that.
Mhm.
Have you
Now,
ever
it works. It's just not easy.
Have you ever seen that like almost looks like a glove that replaces your keyboard that you can use and that click with that and set? Forget it. What's happening in chat? You guys are just laughing. Is someone saying something bad about Guilty? Because if it is, then I'm okay.
The opposite, sir. The
Me?
opposite.
Me?
No.
That's
RTS is easy on controller if they can do that on mobile. Oh. Powerful champion.
Yep.
Shammy has to come in with the mobile because of Torchlight Infinite.
Because of reasons.
Yeah.
Which
I couldn't
works
play
really
an
well
RTS
on mobile.
That opinion's
controller.
not warranted, you know?
I mean, it's valuable.
It's like me saying something nice about Last Epoch, right? Because it's like, oh, well, he's just a fanboy. It is not valid.
But Last Epoch has a lot of good things to say about it.
Of course it does. It's my favorite game. That's why I want to play I want to play multiplayer now. Now.
None for you. None for us either, so I don't know what I'm talking about.
I literally promised the community probably 500 times. No, trust me. They're not going to lie to us. Like they know what they're doing. It's coming this year. No. It's 2022's our year. 2022's our year. Pour one for Aaron's Epoch. I'll pour it down my throat.
To be fair, he has an item in the game.
That's true.
We all put in like our thoughts and got what we did get what we wanted.
I do have an item coming to the game. It is coming in on March 9th.
Mm-hmm.
And you can say that now.
Yeah. Yes, Howard. It is a cool item.
Oh yeah.
Lady Medusa knows my item because we're going to be making Golemancers together.
It's a Golemancers armor.
Yes. It'll be fun. When we get that, when we cross that bridge in a few months.
You know what would
Did
be...
they say okay to the flavor text?
He said it should not be a problem.
Cool.
So not like a confirmed yes yet.
They
I
might
really
use
hope that makes it.
base. They might tinker it a little bit if he says that.
Lady Medusa
No,
says,
it's
I will
great.
take a vacation on March
was that?
9th and I will get it before you. Well, I could tell you this. Good luck. You might get it before me, but I am also taking a vacation on March 9th. So, we'll see. What do we got? First time chat.
Yeah.
Playing Last Epoch with the controller is no problem if you stop. Use it for mouse and keyboard when you upgrade and sell and move around items from inventory to chest and things like
Right.
that.
I did tinker with the controller once just to like see what it was like. It wasn't my thing because it was a little half support. It felt like it's not quite good. So you could use your keyboard to do like what he's saying, all the different things, but didn't feel right. Yeah.
Hoser
not
comes in.
Console or a
I wasn't going to read what Hoser put.
Oh, you always got to read what Hoser says. It makes me happy. Placeholder release date on LE anyways. See you in late 23, boys. Late summer 23.
Hey, Daft, Daft,
I know about that.
Daft, I got a question for
Yeah.
you. What
What's
if
up?
D4 doesn't come in April? Now that would
That could be
change
something
things,
different.
right?
That would change if they just threw out a date to kind of get people all spicy again and excited, and then just did maybe like June or
Because
something.
if D4 doesn't come in April, you will already be 9 weeks into the new Torchlight season. So that by that
Right.
time, you're dead. That game's dead.
Yeah.
And then you're only compete. Well, actually, never mind. You're dealing with the new PoE league. March,
Mm-hmm.
right? Isn't that
I mean,
the
maybe that game has a hard time getting me even. When Discord talks about it and everybody gets hyped up, I might make a character. It's like reading the same book 60 times now. But that's just me. I'm just not a path guy.
What if D4 releases Christmas?
Could you imagine that? They're like, hey, April Fools, the announcement
Sure.
for the December 8th Game Awards is the game drops on Friday or something. That would be great. They would never do that, though. That would be the dumbest, stupidest.
It would be genius.
No, it would not.
It would be genius. They'd sell out. They'd sell so many.
No.
Because it's
Yeah.
They hit prior to Christmas, the month before, like
You tack some
December
special.
Christmas
package.
would, yeah.
No. If they said December 8th, it's coming on Christmas, that would be smart. But December 8th saying it's coming December 10th, that would be stupid.
No, no. We have to release it on Christmas so everyone can like the pre-order so they can play on Christmas Day.
Right. Everybody's got that day off. And yeah. But I don't know. They could do whatever they want. They're Blizzard. You know,
they do
their
whatever they
release,
want, and that's
and
a
they
problem sometimes.
Yeah, their release
many times
will only affect their numbers, but people are going to play it whenever they release. So
people just keep buying.
You know what's interesting? Everybody me, Guilty, and Daft on that same poll, without knowing what we're going to vote for, all picked Last Epoch. If all 4 of those games dropped on the same day, 1.0, all 3 of us selected LE. And I was very specific that I want to play Warlock. Okay. Did you guys watch my last dev chat video? Me and Quiet were able to get a little bit of Warlock details out.
Yeah.
The Warlock is going to be like Jafar.
Middle Eastern? Evil? Does he have a parrot? I hope he has a parrot.
No, that's the Falconeer. They can't just steal that, right?
No, he can have a parrot on his shoulder, and it has to have Gilbert's
carpet.
Gilbert's dead, but someone could like piece together things Gilbert said in past movies and just put it in Last Epoch.
So we just kept pushing. I was like, Quiet, help me out. I'm like DMing Quiet, like, hey, Quiet, ask questions on Warlock 2. Like, we're gonna break Mike. And he asks a very good, nice, like, good question. So smarter than me. And then he says, well, I can't tell you anything about Warlock, but I can give you the theming of the class. And all I could say is Jafar. So then immediately I'm literally in the background. Jafar's powers, Jafar's characteristics. Where does Jafar get everything from?
Money?
Which led me to a very specific thing that Jafar does. Mesmerize. He mesmerizes people.
Did he mesmerize, or was he just so Machiavellian?
Mesmerize.
So, like, such a big con man that he could just get people to do what he wanted.
No, because remember he mesmerized their eyes change so he can get the king to say whatever he wants and stuff.
Yeah, but was that before or after? I don't remember. Was that before or after he got the genie?
Which then took the conversation that the Warlock would be like the Mesmer in Guild Wars.
That's what first came to mind. And
yes.
So we talked about this with the charm would be that's charming. We said this earlier. We talked about this like a half year ago.
I played a Mesmer in Guild Wars. It was an interesting class. If they're basing it off that, could be interesting.
Well, so then at the end, now the whole chat, there's 100 messages. We're all saying Mesmer,
Right.
Mesmer confirmed. And then Mike's like, he just can't stop laughing. He's like, I didn't say it's a Mesmer. Like, it's not a Mesmer. I'm just saying.
Don't get me in trouble.
I'm just saying.
Say it. You figured it out.
I'm just saying theming of the class is like Jafar. So he didn't say it was a Mesmer, but basically
mirror images and all this.
Drath Shadis, he used hypnotism / enchantment, aka he can use curse magic. Makes sense.
Yeah, because in my head, what I kept trying to say is like, hey, is this class going to be like a plague bringer, like full dot curse, like, and then he's like, it's going to be like Jafar. So anyways, if you didn't hear the news, that's like the only thing we were able to get. Isn't it so frustrating? Literally, we're getting a full D4 release, like a AAA game people have been waiting for that's going to have millions of players. And I'm sitting here talking about a character I want to play, and all I know is the damn theme of it from a Disney movie.
Hey, that's fine.
Which one, though? The animation or the live action?
I don't watch those live action ones.
I haven't seen any of them.
No, I've seen Jungle Book. I thought the Jungle Book was all right.
I haven't seen any of them because I think it's because my childhood doesn't need to be touched.
Okay, I almost said something terrible, and I just
I didn't.
I took it out of my brain and threw it away.
Terrible, Mr. Aaron. Terrible.
Good
Terrible.
on you.
Terrible. Thank you for thinking first.
If you look at the abilities
Yes.
of the Acolyte, it follows 3 themes: minion,
Howard
dot,
Gaming is like,
and
oh, the
curse.
pause.
Same. Jungle Book's the only live action I've seen. Yeah, and
Um,
that's what I told Mike during the stream. I was like, hey, we obviously have minion with Necromancer, and we have transform with
Mhm.
Lich. So it makes
Mhm.
sense with the theming of the class that like the third would be like a plague bringer, like something curse, like turning enemies against themselves and fighting, like maybe that style debuff class. And he said Jafar. So
And maybe more crowd control.
Does he
that
mean
class.
mechanically or aesthetically?
theming. He just said
So
That's
it's
aesthetically.
theming.
Yeah.
Mm,
Be a wispy character.
yeah. 7 foot tall string being in a cool outfit.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's something. Once again,
Howard
I like
Gaming,
the little nuggets.
All live action adaptations are bad. So far, that last Resident Evil movie was pretty
Oh.
terrible. It was pretty. We saw it in the theater because Gabe wanted to go see it. So it's like he liked it, and I looked at him in the middle of the theater at the end. I said, "You're never picking a movie again."
Raccoon City.
The generation gap.
I saw it in the
It's
theaters
terrible.
too because my
My
son
kids liked it too.
loves Resident Evil, so I took him to see it. It was
Did he
Horrible.
love that one?
no, and he loves Resident Evil so much he went to go watch the new Netflix show, and he's like, "This is the worst. This is the worst
So
thing I've ever seen."
you do know who plays Wesker, right?
Yes.
Okay, so he's Zavala, man. He could be in anything, and I'll watch it. I think he's a phenomenal actor, voice actor, everything. And he wanted to play the part. Everything else I didn't like.
Raven Crow says Jafar theme before or after he becomes a genie. I'll ask Mike right now. Oh no, I can't ask him. Actually, yeah.
You can.
That's a good question. Before or after Genie? Yeah, just send him.
He's gonna laugh. He's gonna be like, "Please leave me alone."
No, tell him that he doesn't get a say, and we're gonna have to
Weird.
get plane tickets to go to Canada.
Exactly.
Quick question. He's not even on Discord. Maybe he'll see it.
Maybe.
Go visit Hoser and a Canadian guy up in the north.
He's Western. Where are they at? Hoser's East.
I think he's
That's
east and one's west.
Yeah. They're like polar opposites of the country.
Right.
Quick question. I'm live on stream. Warlock themed after Jafar before or after he's the genie? It's gonna be like, what's wrong with you?
So much. So many things.
It's fine. He should like the publicity he's getting.
You think?
Talking about their game.
No, we're talking about Mike. Mike's in the Western Canada, Canadian guy. But apparently a Canadian guy's 2 hours north of Hoser. So they're both eastish?
Easty.
All right. Question sent.
Give
We'll see if
5
he
minutes.
reads it. We'll see if he reads it. Oh, he went from sleeping to
Why'd you
green
wake me up?
to
Why'd you wake
green.
me up?
I could see him looking at his phone and being like, come on. Like,
And just throwing
come
his phone
on.
back down. Throwing his phone back down.
Oh,
in
we
stream
got a
right now.
reply. It's
Oh, wow.
before.
Look at that.
Before.
Go.
Before he's the
Before.
genie.
Okay, that's
You
Wow.
are the
That's-
best.
that's some luggage right there. So good on
So
good on him.
that's Mike right there.
Yeah, right, dude. Right. Good point. That's perfect.
He's typing something. I can only imagine.
I'm sure it'll be great.
The poor dev can't sleep. No, he's not sleeping. It's too early, and he's got a kid.
Yeah, it's like was he 3 hours?
He's
behind us.
fine.
He's west. It's only 7.
Yeah.
Fine.
Yeah.
Wife said, "Did you ever eat dinner?" I had
Oh God.
I had hospital eggs and hash browns
It's not
at
food.
9 o'clock, and then I had Carl's Jr. chicken sandwich at I don't know.
Question.
Three. I haven't eaten crap. It was a horrible day of eating.
At what point does Carl's Jr. become Checkers? In what state does the transition take place?
I don't know, but I could tell you this. I entered the parking lot and it's same parking lot, Chick-fil-A and Carl's Jr. There's not one car, one person inside of Carl's Jr. Not one, zero. And Chick-fil-A has 500 cars. And I probably still would have got my food faster, but I was just like, I'd want to get home, so I'm just gonna eat at Carl's Jr. It's a terrible decision. I should have waited and had the Chick-fil-A.
I had a fast food mishap as well. I had Hardee's breakfast because that's what is across the street. And I don't eat bread. But for some reason, it's like, you know what? I'm going to have these biscuits and gravy. I also don't eat gravy.
Good.
It's so good, but it's so terrible.
That's fine.
And I felt like I died.
Let's go work out afterwards.
No,
Ride
it's
the
not
bike
about working
or-
out. I felt like I died.
Well,
It's
you
been
don't
so
eat
long.
anything, so yeah.
Yeah.
When I was a vegetarian for 14 years, like 12 to 24 or so, when I did start eating meat when I was working in restaurants because I had to taste food, so I had to readjust. The one thing I noticed is I lost all the enzymes, the acids to break down the meats. So that part for me took 4 months to kind of develop that again. But that was after 14 years of not eating the meat. So your body does go through some, changes. So I'm sure that you dealt with that when you're eating all this fats and
It was terrible.
Dude, I literally
It won't happen again.
I asked Carl's Jr. because I order a meal, I don't drink soda. So I was like, oh, can I just get a coffee? And they're like, oh, let me see if you have any left. And it's like, this is the coffee they made in the morning. It was Carl's Jr. is not good.
no.
Oh,
never
it's
mind.
horrible.
Hold on. What is Jollibee?
Jollibee's good. Oh,
What is Jollibee? What?
look what my wife wrote.
Probably, maybe it's an equivalent type thing, but they're in the Philippines, so
Yes, he is. Yes, Nina. Yes, we all are.
I get in bed last night. She's like, what's wrong? And I'm just like, I'm sad Last Epoch multiplayer. I was talking to Mike the other day and I was like, I think I need a new hobby. I'm physically sad about your communicate in real life,
it's like your kid upset you, and you're just taking it in.
I'm like,
"All right,
I am
gotta go step away."
sad. Oh my gosh. I know I really was upset.
Oh, fried chicken. Awesome.
Okay.
Okay, I asked for permission to read this on stream. Okay, it's insider trading. That's not the right word. Okay.
Don't say that out loud. They'll come for you. You're getting
This is
audited next week.
insider. This is exclusive. This is exclusive content that can only be found here. Mike, senior developer from 11th Hour Games. Don't try to predict abilities based on what Jafar can do. I have no idea what Jafar's powers actually are, or wait, that sentence doesn't make sense. Okay, wait. I'm gonna read that again. I'm gonna fix a couple things. Don't try to predict abilities based on what Jafar can do. I have no idea what Jafar's powers actually are, or well, you can. It's like, go ahead if you want to, but I have no idea if they line up at all.
I think it's highly the gearing is going to be what he's going after right here. Just the way the character looks. It's going to be probably like the Arabic kind of vibe to the gear. That's what I'm gathering from this. Otherwise, it doesn't seem like anything else. Mike just use this as some, visual reference for us.
Maybe they already have images that they've drawn out, and when he saw the images, he's like, oh, that looks like Jafar, or something like that. So that's why he throws out the theming for it. I have no idea. There's no Chick-fil-A here. The only branch store is on a big island. People actually make a living getting Chick-fil-A from there and reselling it here. Chick-fil-A is
Reselling it.
so good.
So we have a Chick-fil-A north of me, and there's such a line that they have people outside of the building taking your order because they can't possibly handle it at the window.
Well, it's interesting. At Chick-fil-A, they actually normally have someone take your order, someone take your payment, someone give you your sauces. And at the one we were at, it's so crazy. Instead of them handing it to you through a window, the whole wall opens and they can walk through it, give you their food, walk back in, and the wall shuts because it's like a full-size door.
That's next level Scientology.
It is
there.
literally the most efficient fast
Scary.
food you can. I mean, there's never not a line ever. It's.
I guess we're behind the curve. I think we eat fast food like once every 3 or 2 weeks. And
Well,
that's
not
'cause we're
everybody
busy.
has the stay-at-home dad that can cook all the meals like you. By the way, everyone, on the bonus hour of this podcast, Daftly, for Patreons only, is going to be talking about how he became a stay-at-home dad.
Oh, how interesting this will be.
Uh-oh, I hit something.
No, not really. No,
No,
but
he hit a button.
What did
No,
I
don't hit buttons. You hit a button. You're not allowed to hit buttons.
button.
Sounds
for you.
good.
It's a little funky.
I
I'm
got
gonna step away, guys, real quick. My dog needs to be fed. I'll be
Okay.
back in a moment.
Paulus187, he says, I don't know if it's true, but I read somewhere that over 50% of all meals in America is eaten in a car.
I'd believe it.
I could absolutely believe that.
Absolutely believe that.
We have, okay, so a lot of the culture is work culture. You eat on the way to work, on the way from work. You might eat in your car while you're on lunch break at work. Yeah. And that's just to get away from the people you're working with.
I don't like eating while driving, but I'll eat in my car. If that makes sense.
I mean, when we just took our trip down to the Keys, we were in there for 7.5 hours, something like that. We packed snacks and stuff, and the only time we stopped was for gas. Like, so it was like Slim Jims and rice crackers. You know?
Yeah. Okay, so I want to just kind of put a bow on Last Epoch right now.
I wish they would put a bow on it.
Put a ring on it. It's my favorite action RPG, probably the last 5 years. 1,600 hours, over 330 videos on YouTube, over 48 build guides. I love the game. Studio's always supported me. I am always going to support them. If all the games release on the same day, I'm going to boot up Last Epoch and play that Warlock first because I believe in them. I think there's something to be said about a good, honest studio. And, that's just where I stand. It makes me physically sad because I'm scared that with so much competition and so much money in these other AAA companies, that other people are not going to be able to experience Last Epoch because it's going to be lost in the minutia of all those other games. And that's what sucks, is I felt like really Last Epoch was going to be able to carve out their place on the action RPG mountain, be able to not compete with the PoE League, not compete with the D4 launch, but always have that kind of Grim Dawn style of, concurrent players that are there for the game. And I'm afraid that won't happen now. So that's really what it is.
Do you know how Grim Dawn got that?
Mods.
No.
Great devs. Great
I was
devs.
about, they do, yes, but those devs were AAA developers.
They were. And then they went
for the
small.
most part, they came from THQ Nordic.
Yeah.
But they got that way by releasing the game and then finishing it.
Yeah. They worked
But
on
they
all
could
the
claim that that's
chapters
what they did. It's been in early access. The game's been out.
Well,
No?
when I started playing
Not
Grim
released
Dawn,
yet.
Yeah, when I started playing Grim Dawn, it had the first chapter released, and then I believe they finished the second chapter, and then they went live, and then they just started adding the rest of the game,
So when
then
it was live,
the DLCs.
you got the first the first you fought the wall slug at the end, and that was the end of it.
Yep.
They didn't have the totems. The entire the power setting for multiplayer was way bad.
It was really bad.
It was like exponential difficult. Like, oh, each person that came in, now you have to fight demigods.
Right.
The components, you had to have 3 of each components.
That was horrible.
Oh, Crucible didn't exist. Shattered Realms didn't exist because that's in the second major DLC. The classes that are in it now didn't exist. They only had the first couple classes. It was not a finished game. It wasn't what we have now.
But you got to remember, I'm curious.
Yeah.
I'm curious how much development went into LE year 1.
Probably not as much as went into it year 4.
Not even, probably even year 2. I bet more development has gone
be.
into the game this year compared to the entire game combined. That's my honest.
That's possible.
Right. I mean, year 1's probably a lot of, at least in their case, where it was a Reddit thing, it was probably a lot of talk, and then some people starting to code and get some ideas together, and then they built up the team.
Mephisto says if it takes this long to get 090, maybe expect 1.0 in 2025.
2025.
They could do it right now as a single player thing and say to come later or something. I don't know. They could do what like other game companies do.
Now, they're going to be releasing new communication soon. Normally when they say soon, it actually means soon.
They're on top of it. Yeah. They're not Wilson.
Probably 2 weeks.
Yeah, that's what I figured on not 090 plans, 2023 plans. So I am curious, like, what if they gave us, the 1.0 release, or maybe they're going to say, hey, this is what season 1's going to look like. Like, we want to talk to you about the theme of the first season or first cycle. Like, I'm curious what.
Rotten Gamer, Wilson expansion will release before LE multiplayer.
Dude. So right before this podcast, I put out my November
Act.
Wilson drop. Did you guys read it?
Uh-huh.
All 5 seconds.
My intro for my video was the Frozen song. Some things never change. Yep. Because obviously they released the communication on November 30th because tomorrow is December 1st. So if they didn't put it out today, they would be a liar.
Well, they've been a liar a couple times.
They have been a liar multiple times.
Yeah.
But they put in the first paragraph that we're going to be giving you communication over the next couple months on what Chapter 4 is going to be like, which means we know that we're not going to get Chapter 4 for at least a couple months, right? I mean, it's really
the taster.
The communication on this one's bad. It's really, really bad. Like, I feel like they took a lot of time on October, and then November was like, oh crap, it's November 30th. We have to put out, just post it. No one reads it anyways. Like, that's what I took.
Like I said before, imagine just going to work at Wilson. The
I don't speak
morale,
French.
the morale. I'm just talking morale. You could learn French. It's Latin based. But the morale base has got to be so low.
Oh, I'm sure it's terrible.
So low.
Okay.
And, ideas are not going to be,
for sure
at this point.
So I put a bow on Last Epoch. I think I've said everything I need to say. Super disappointed and sad, but I'll be there on March 9th. I guess fighting Lady Medusa to see who gets the first picture with their character wearing my new Golem Mancer armor coming
The goal,
for
everyone.
Necromancer.
Any one of you gets it before him,
Oh, irony
please
if I get
make
it
that a
before
thing.
you.
What sucks too is I'm not gonna be. Well, I guess I'm going to be able to experience all the multiplayer stuff already. I wonder if I can get him to put it in the CT.
They won't put it in the CT.
I mean,
Challenge accepted. What's up, Xever?
Thank you, How Weird Gaming.
Yeah.
No, he won't beat me to it.
Oh, I bet he will. Just because you just now said that.
Now you have people gunning for it.
Now I'm never going to find it. That's what's going to happen. It'll be like Bastion of Honor. These people went weeks trying to find it, and I find it everywhere. It's just, that's how it goes.
Like,
Someone's gonna be like, I saw I've got 12 hours in game and I've already got one
I know.
because that's how RNG works.
Yeah.
So we have 20 minutes left of this podcast. What I would like to switch to, obviously the intro, which is Warhammer 40K, Inquisitor, Martyr.
Yep.
New DLC, Battle Sisters.
Them sexy ass battle nuns.
I mean, I didn't get that vibe, but
That's
I mean,
because
that-
you're not looking at the game from the right classes.
No, that's funny. That's what I
No,
think that's what
I-
Hoser was saying, is like he likes the more armor you would see on the female classes in Lost Ark over the armor you would see on the characters in Martyr.
well, they're more like
Have you ever? There's
Traditional-
Sister of Battle armor. It's
yeah.
30 years. It's been around for 30 years. It's
Yeah,
not going to
it's-
change.
It's
What he is trying to
classic.
say is that Warhammer, they actually look like they wear armor, and in Lost Ark, they wear,
Bikinis.
you said it.
Strong bikinis, very strong.
Yeah, they're made out of like leather to stop, you know.
leather.
Right. So my battle nuns look hotter in their full armor than those other things in their thongs.
See, I wasn't going for the hot armor.
It's like
kind
one
of
looks like a
vibe.
strong woman who's
It
capable
just,
and
they
mighty.
just look like every picture of a dwarven female character, but just tall. They're just kind of big and thick, and whatever works.
I
They
watched
are-
I watched a couple videos on YouTube on like their actual Warhammer lore, and I was like, oh, it's like pretty interesting.
Oh, the Warhammer lore is amazing.
I
But
know.
go
Pretty
look at the intro. I put actual cosplayers in Sisters of Battle cosplay in that intro. Those were not image. They were like real people.
Great.
doing their thing.
I want you to all do that again.
Okay, so I'll start. So Martyr, the new DLC. It's been years since I've played that game, but it is normally something when it's like a Steam sale. A lot of times it makes my top 5 because it's a newer game. It's fun. They're continuing to develop it. It now has seasons, and normally it's a pretty good sale. So I would say maybe a good 10 or 20 of us are now playing it through Discord, and it's pretty darn good. Now, there is some stuff that needs to be fixed, in my opinion, but for the most part, it does feel pretty fresh and solid. Guilty, what do you think?
It is at the moment the only ARPG I am playing. I'm actually dividing my gaming time between it and Battlefield 2042 because I'm a filthy shooter sometimes. It's got unique systems that I don't find in many other ARPGs, and it's adapted some familiar ones in a unique way.
I like the loot, your inventory, how it works.
Did you notice the Grim Dawn offering that it has? It's not
How
as okay. So the totems, they have their own variants of the totem now. You click
No.
on it and they warp in around it, and then you kill them and you get the loot from it. It's pretty cool.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah.
What do you like about the loot, Daft?
No, I was saying the inventory system.
Like
I have
inventory
multiple
Tetris?
bags.
Oh, yeah.
Well, you have multiple bags, and you can hit auto sort by level or whatever rarity, and it does all the bags and throws all of them to your front bag. Right, so you could have a bunch of trash gear, and you've got a bunch. It'll be thrown to your bottom tiers, and all your better gear will be up front. So you can kind of like skim through it faster.
And it's got free auto loot. Did you know that?
I
Yeah,
did.
We
I
didn't
don't
have
have it
to pay
on.
for a pet.
Yeah, I don't have it on, but yeah, I did see that.
It's got
Um,
free.
That just picks up the gear, I'm assuming, because everything else is auto.
Hoser says, I'm currently level 54 in Warhammer and having a hard time understanding what I'm doing. I got credits rolling at level 30 and still quests popping up. I don't know if I've beaten the story or not. So that is, I will say that the linear progression of Warhammer and understanding the quests and what you are doing is not,
So
yeah, it's not
It's
super
not
easy.
super intuitive.
Intuitive is the word I was looking for. Yes.
yeah.
It's not
I-
super intuitive.
I always pick the random ones or pull up a map and then just do it by level. But I know there's multiple ways you can pick your quests.
What you
from
should
your
be doing is
level.
just trying to knock out the season rewards or the season challenges.
That's
Like,
what I've been doing.
that's what you should be
Yeah.
trying to focus on. And I will say I'm disappointed. I was under the impression that we were going, when they first gave me the new DLC, that we were going to get the new DLC launching with the new season, which would be awesome. But that's not the case.
Yeah, it's weird.
Isn't that stupid? But maybe they didn't want to. Maybe they didn't want to wait.
Yeah, like well, they know that like you plan for something. If it doesn't happen, you release anyway.
I mean, I don't know. They like their servers were having problems based upon the concurrent players, which seems crazy, right?
Well, no, so
Warhammer?
they're on console too, and let's face it, people play this game on console. And that probably impacted their servers.
Sure.
Checking right now.
It's cross-platform, right?
It's not cross-platform, but it is multi-platform.
Okay.
I'm looking right now. September, they were up 8%. October, they were up 7.8%. November, they were up 57%.
There it was.
Yep. Big spike.
And their 24-hour concurrent is 3,000.
Yeah, I was one of them.
And they're not exactly like the studio that makes it isn't a household name. No one's going around saying, I sure want the next game from this studio.
But I think they knew that they had something decent, and they've been really trying to add to it, you know? So
And they did.
Yeah.
They did a great job. Like, I would say they did crate level, great job.
Haha. Wordplay. I don't know.
Oh,
Great.
that is wordplay.
Good
Crate, but it's supposed to be great, and they sound alike, and that's why you said it.
They did great job.
Now, one thing I don't like about it is that it is that style of game where once you get to end game, everybody looks and does the same thing. So I don't like, I've never been, honestly, kind of like Lost Ark, right? It's like, oh, you want to do PvP, you select those skills and all the gears, you know, so like that's the kind of stuff. I love character customization. It's my favorite thing about action RPGs. And I do think that that is like, they have lots of different passives, but as far as actual skill differences, your skills based upon your weapon. So so if you use a rifle and I use a rifle, we use the same skills. I hate that unless there's a way to severely modify those 4 skills so we could be very different.
Multiple rifle types. So let's say you use the bolter.
Yep.
Which any Adeptus Astartes should. But Sisters of Battle also use a bolter. But they also have the flamer perk. They use flamers. They have the sensor, and they cronk you on the head with a big metal flaming torch. I've been using a melt-a-gun. I use a plasma gun and a melt-a-gun. They have completely different things. So it's still a rifle. It's just a different kind of rifle.
But you don't actually pick your skills. You pick your weapon, which gives you the skills.
Well, I did Tech Priest, so I got all pets. So I go for like
yeah, Tech Priest awesome though.
It's fun.
Tech Priest is the latest class that was added.
I will send you guys the first 4 chapters of Tech Priest.
Sure. Check it out.
Because it is I really like Warhammer 40K.
And I do like another thing about the Warhammer game. Each character starts in its own zone. Like you do a different campaign for the different classes. Like I did Battle Sisters, and it was this certain set of, you know, completions to get at least the main campaign done, the opening part. But then when I played the Tech Police, completely different campaign. Like completely different areas, completely different monsters, completely different objectives. So I like that. Gives a little bit of a replayability from class to class.
What do you think about the voice acting?
It's good.
I mean, it's good. I skipped through most of it.
It's
deep.
Whenever that tech or the Space Marine, what is he? Is he a sergeant? He's a sergeant.
Oh,
a bald sergeant. Every time he talks, I'm like, oh yes.
Yeah. He's in part of mine, helping out every once in a while, but yeah.
Well, like Titus, Captain Titus from Space Marine, the very awesome action game. I wish they would turn that story into a live action movie, or like that one, or like the first
Ooh, so you
3
just made
books
me
of the
think of-
Horus Heresy.
You just made me think of Space Marine 2. Oh, yeah.
So like, see the end. Spoiler alert: if you haven't played it, muffs. What are they gonna do with Titus? Because he's touched the void.
They don't care. They just want
He's
to.
touched the no. He got arrested by the Inquisition. Like the Inquisitors took him away because he's a Space Marine who touched the warp.
Knowing them, they've probably like reset it, so it's just like redoing the same thing.
Like he touched the warp to win, and he's like, I don't know why I'm unaffected by the warp.
Right.
And then they took him away, and that was the end.
Canadian guy in chat's asking how you get Tech Priest. He's a DLC.
DLC, yes, you need to go buy the complete collection when you get Martyr.
Mhm.
Relatively
complete-
cheap,
Yeah.
to be fair. It's all a bunch of 98 cents. You got a few 4.99 types,
It
but
is the only one that cost I think it's $13 for the new DLC, and it's well worth it because that battle run is fun.
good stuff.
I'm looking it up
Also-
right now. Space Marine 2 is launching in 2023, but
Oh, fantastic.
no date.
So I may take a day off of work for that. Anyway,
Wow.
yeah, I really like like my son and I bonded over that game,
There you
and
go.
I played it first, and then I bought it for him like years later, and he's like, that was a really good game. He didn't even know what a Space Marine was. Like he had no idea that I painted minis and played on a table and did stuff at comic stores.
I don't think my son would know either what a Space Marine is specifically if I brought it up.
No, I mean,
He
not
might,
everyone's
but-
cool enough to play with Blood Angel toys. It's fine.
Yeah.
I really, 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 really want to see more in the way of Warhammer coming out. Because they had the Warhammer chest, which Aaron played that on the stream of Boardman or something. The servers for that just shut down.
Did they?
What game did I
Yeah.
play?
It was what was it called? It
Oh,
was,
the Warhammer chess.
yeah,
Yeah.
which was
I
very
remember
good
that.
when the servers were up, but they shut the servers down. Or I think they did. Yeah, they shut them down. Oh, what was it called? Something with an R or something. I want to see more in the way of Space Marine. I want to see live action video. We've got fan films. Like the intro was a fan film. They can do that. We could see that, Fox, maybe not Fox, maybe Universal produced Warhammer.
Right. Which
The
game
pre-
you asking about in chat? Convict Conch. I don't want to ruin your
When
name.
will the game release? Yeah, which game? Is Space Marine multiplayer? I don't remember.
I don't think so. I've only ever played it with one.
Yeah, your whole squad
You
and
play Titus.
Epoch.
Last Epoch 090 will be out March 9th.
March.
So March 9th,
About
4 months. And the
March.
actual game release, we don't know.
But that's the release date they've given us. So that's what we know. So find something else to play for a couple months.
That's exactly what it is. And I recommend, because right now we're playing it as a community, Warhammer 40K, Inquisitor, Martyr, the longest game name in a while.
It's been a minute, yeah.
Get the complete collection and then download the DLC. No one paid me to say that, but it's pretty cheap. And
then
it
go to
will,
that Discord, hang out with us.
and then you could kick it with us and play some multiplayer co-op.
Yeah.
That's going to be the game for the next few months. So the cadence is Martyr until early January, Pirates and Plunder Season 2 Torchlight, then Superfuse end of January, then Last Epoch March 9th, and then D4. That is my current gaming.
You plan way more than I do. I get week to week, maybe.
I do a lot of reading and other things other than gaming just to keep sanity. Speaking of reading, Horus Heresy, check it out. If you guys don't know what Warhammer is, that's the best place to start. That is the foundation of the entire universe. There are 66 novels in the Horus Heresy
It's a
canon.
thick world. Been around forever.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
Tabletop era. I mean, it's been
Yeah, that's
forever.
just a horse. Like anything by Dan Abnett. Like just read Gaunt's Ghosts. That's like awesome.
Guilty, I have a question for you. I want to see if anything has changed. Are you going to buy D4?
No. like I made a joke earlier. Someone said we were talking about launching on Christmas, and it says Diablo dressed as Santa. Like, if I would buy it just to see that, that would be the only reason I'd be buying it.
Game Awards, December 8th. They come out and say D4 launches Christmas. You don't buy it. Nope.
If Diablo is dressed as Santa Claus
That could be a thing.
on the cover of the special Christmas edition, I'll buy it.
That game is going to make so much money. It's going to
It will.
just...
Whether or not I buy it too, so that doesn't change the thing. And I know I'm going to end up getting it probably because the community's going to play it.
For sure
don't
you're going to
know
get it. You already know you're going to get it.
But I don't
Like,
know.
I
how
know that
early-
I don't want to support a company who actively protects people who do harm to their employees.
That's a thing. But
Actively.
Do you have an Apple cell phone?
I do not.
Do you have do you use electricity?
Barely. Also, my electricity comes from magic.
Ah,
Magic electricity.
that
it
makes
is.
sense. All right, everybody. That I think is gonna do it. So, you know, good conversation today. Again, sad
Yep,
about Last
sad.
Epoch, but I like being
Yeah,
able to
same
talk
here.
through it with people. You know,
get it off our chest, talk amongst each other, and get the feel goods or the feel bads out, and just move on. It's a game ultimately, and it'll come out when it's
it's
ready.
just
and we'll play
little pixels on a screen.
Yep.
No big deal. So, yeah, just recapping. We talked about LE. We talked about Diablo and what that's going to do kind of as far as shaking up gaming for a little bit. And then we talked about Warhammer. What we're going to do right now is me, Daft, and Guilty. We are going to switch over to our Patreon only bonus hour. And we record that. And I want to start trying to get that up night of, so you can watch
Oh,
it
really?
the same night. I also had a little bit of an idea, gentlemen. Maybe we start streaming the bonus hour on YouTube. Set it as private and then link it on Patreon.
We can do that.
We could do that. So then it would be legitimately transfer over to a live feed that then Patreons could come over to.
And
Instead-
then they'd also be able to watch it later. But yeah.
Exactly. Instead of us just recording it and then loading it, it's just an idea that I had. And I want to actually see what streaming on YouTube is like, because the more and more I read about it and the more and more people switch over to it,
I've
I just
talked
want
to a
to,
couple other streamers that they like it.
I want to poke,
different.
I want to poke that bear a little bit.
I follow a few people that stream on YouTube.
And they'll stream like 6 hours, and do perfectly fine. And from what I hear, it's a lot easier to work with on the creator's end. You have a lot more
And again, like when it's,
flexibility.
I'll still get people where I'm streaming on Twitch and people will be like, dude, I didn't even know you streamed. It's like, I've been streaming for 16 months, But obviously we just passed 22,000 subscribers on YouTube today. So, we just have a larger audience there. So anyways, thank you all for coming out. I hope you all have a fantastic night. I think Perry the Pig is still streaming, isn't he?
Awesome.
LA
Yes.
still?
Yes, he does.
Yeah, and he's playing LE. So we can go raid
LE.
Perry. You guys can all go and say hi. Check out the Patreon. Check out the Discord. Get Martyr. That's what we're playing. If you have any questions and you need anything, come by the Discord. Guilty. Final word. Give me the thumbs up when you're done.
Good night, everybody.